Well, yes, indeed. It's aviation matters that we'll focus on next. And incidentally, that's part of what this administration has spoken about, resuscitating our national carrier. Well, Captain Ado Sanusi joins us next. He's the Deputy Managing Director of Arik Air to give his perspective on this matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, talking about getting back our national carrier, Nigeria Airways, well, of course, there are many who are elated about all of those. But from the players themselves, do you think that they're going to give their required cooperation with this directive?
Well, you know, there's a lot of debate about national carrier in the country. And I think what we have to do is to define a national carrier and a flag carrier so that we can understand and know where we want to go. The definition of a national carrier, which is acceptable internationally, is that the government must have a substantial stake financially in that airline. A flag carrier can be owned by individual, a single individual or group of individuals, but that fly the flag, meaning it flies international routes. Flag carrier or national carrier is a welcome advantage to the industry. It's an added thing to the industry. So I think if the country decides to float a national carrier, it's going to be a welcome thing to the industry because it's going to develop the industry. But the aviation industry, the main challenge is not a national carrier, it's the decaying infrastructure. So if a national carrier or development of a national carrier will make the government now look at the infrastructure, then probably that's a good way to go.
So when you talk about infrastructure, what specifically here?
Well, the airports. If you've gone to the airports, you've seen the airports, you've seen how the airports operate in the country. You've gone to the airports outside the country, you see how the airports operate there. And then if you look at the infrastructure on safety, the runway lights, the runway markings, the navigational aids, the radios,
but they're not going to neglect all of those, because I think, if I remember properly, there was this commentary about the fact that some of these airports, if not all of them, the ones that they've started, will be delivered April next year. Okay. So they're not glossing over those ones.
No, we're not saying that they're glossing over those. But if you look at the concept that is being adopted to remodel the airports and neglecting the tarmac where you park the airplanes, and there has been a lot of, I would say, runway incursions, colliding of airplanes on ground and all that. Those are the things that I think we should look at also. A national carrier will bring, of course, a lot of airplanes into the country, and it will also be playing in the same hostile environment that we are operating in. So definitely, the government must address those issues that is making it very difficult for us. But as I said, the bringing a national carrier into the play will be a welcome thing, and we would love to see it.
But you guys fear undue advantage, because one of the things that usually happens, and I think that in the aviation industry in general, that's been one area where commercial airlines have said that, you know, when government sponsors, oftentimes these airlines have undue advantage. Do you fear that? Unfair competition in-house?
Well, if they were going to have a very fair operating ground, then I don't think we will fear that. Already we are experiencing that. I mean, where the ministry was, in that case, in those days where they would give BASA rights to a lot of multinational airlines, and they have multiple landing rights into the country. So if you're saying that they will give them undue advantage, I don't understand. Are they going to be flying free without landing and parking charges? Are they going to stop paying navigational charges? Are they going to buy the Jet A1 at a reduced fare? Are they not going to pay the same passenger service charge? They're also going to go to the same airports. They're also going to have the same challenges we're having.
So you do not think that undue advantage could arise because this is going to be Nigerian, as it were, owned by the Nigerian people and the government?
Well, you see, again, you have to understand this, the the strategy of the government. What is the actual goal for setting up a national carrier? If the actual goal for setting up a national carrier is to make money, definitely it's a competitive world. I don't think they can be pumping money for them to make money, to subsidize it for them to make money. It doesn't make economic sense. So I don't think if the goal is not to make money, if the goal is to create jobs, then it's a different thing. Then we will all like that, because we will also pouch into job creation.
Is there anything you will consider as the missing link in this debate about a national carrier?
Oh yes, definitely. We have to address, as I said, we have to address what exactly do we want. Do we want to form a national... Every country has a strategic plan. We want to have a national carrier to project the image of the country, so we can afford to put $5 billion or $10 billion to project the image of the country. Or do we want to have a national carrier to transport people from A to B only? Or do we want to have a national carrier to develop the aviation industry so that one day Nigeria can even build their own airplanes?
I thought all of those is part of the consideration, to have a national carrier.
Well, I hope so. And I hope they have a strategic plan that they want to do to develop a national carrier. And if all those things that I've mentioned are the basis of forming a national carrier, then it's a welcome development.
No government would come with a plan without having done extensive research to see that that is on the table. What exactly are you for or against? A flag carrier or a national carrier? Because we've seen a couple of other countries that have so many operators in the business, and these are flag carriers with a caveat that every airline, irrespective of what name you've chosen to give your airline, puts the country's flag or identity or insignia on their airlines. So which would you love to see, a national carrier or flag carrier?
I would love to see both. I would love to see if we have the capacity to have a national carrier where the government floats the airline. So why not have that? And then we would like to have a free market where, like the United States, where everybody that has a certain criteria can go as a flag carrier also.
Isn't the market free now?
The market is free. The market is free.